I can't do no more than 30 now. I love him, but I couldn't take a minute.
No, they can hear you.
He's doing a different one for me too. Hey, that is Baccarat Baby by artist Carta Dandada. You can check him out on YouTube. I always let people know that is my nephew, so I'm trying to support him. Welcome to Off the Record, where no topic is off limits, giving ourselves as well as our guests a space to share honest opinions that is uncensored, unfiltered, unscripted. Before we get started, I have to make sure I do a disclaimer. So I just have to say for this episode, when we get into the main topic, it may be heavy for some listeners and or viewers, but it is necessary because tonight we are going to be talking about consensual versus non-consensual sex or contact. I am your host, Uno. I am here. I'm going based off my screen. I'm here with Farah Monet. I am here with Renee as well as Apex. Before we even jump into the main topic, there's a big thing that happened in the news recently here. Well, I guess social media. I shouldn't say the news because it's really not even newsworthy, but it is social media worthy, and it is based off of the baby, the rapper. Um, so recently he was here in Dallas, Texas, where he was leaving a club, and apparently there's a young man that drew a photo of his daughters. Um, and it wasn't even the person, the artist goes by the name of B White. He didn't even take the video. It was somebody that was standing across the way that took the video. And apparently the person that took the video seen when the baby rejected the photo by looking at it and then walking off. So a lot of people is saying that he's overreacting. Well, I guess it's split. Some says that he's overreacting, some says that he's not. But here's the thing. After he asked the guy to take the photos of his daughters off his page. Um, but then he went on to threaten the guy, and based off of his threat, he said, "Wait till God put you back in front of me. You'll see what happens. This is not a rapper talking. This is a dad." How do y'all feel about his reaction? I'll
He
give.
said this publicly. I mean, he said this. He
It's
said
on.
this out loud, or he wrote
It's
it.
He
on.
said
He
it
wrote it down.
after.
It's on Instagram.
Yeah, he posted it because he went. I guess he first off he did a message to the artist asking him to remove it, but the artist didn't, because if you look at the artist page, the artist has actual he have photos of other celebrities and their children and other people. So and the only way that me in my head, the only way that he would have gotten a photo of your children is if you probably posted on social media or you had them out in public somewhere. So some
Mhm.
saying that he did what a father needed to do, and some saying that he's overreacting,
I
especially with
would.
a threat.
Well, the guy said that when he first got started doing art, someone had advised him like, "Hey, if you want to reach celebrities, you do photos of like their closest, their loved ones, whatever, and they would appreciate it." I get that part. That I understand. But if the person that you're trying to reach out to is telling you like, "Hey, I don't appreciate this because it's up on your platform. Could you please remove it?" And those are my kids, those are my daughters, because he's saying these are my daughters, I protect my daughters. And you don't remove it, then that's kind of disrespectful because you're not really trying to reach the artist, like you saying, because you're not being respectful of him asking you to take it down. Now, the threat part, why would you threaten him in public? Like, that's a public platform. Like,
He has bodyguards. It's easy to threaten anybody with a bodyguard and probably a pistol.
Let's stop normalizing people taking videos or drawing likenesses of other people's children. I think that's already off limits. Um, I think if somebody drew a likeness of my child and I saw it and I didn't give permission to do that for him to post it or anything like that, I would be upset as well. I wouldn't go as far as to threaten them, but I would see what my avenues were for legal action. But of course, I don't have a pistol or a bodyguard, so I don't feel froggy enough to jump that, jump that way. So,
Yeah.
but and I think that there are other ways to reach celebrities than to post videos of their children. I feel like that was he knew he didn't want it there. He wanted to keep him upset, and now his pictures or drawings or whatever um are mainstream now. Like everybody's looking at it, everybody's watching it. So he's got the clout that he wanted based off of this publicity. He should have just kind of ignored it and sought legal action. And
You can speak.
but
Yeah, I think you could speak on. I think everything was there. You had it right. I just think the point of it is that Once you step across and tell him, hey, this threat, that threat, you've now made him relevant. What I would have done is, hey, this is not what you're going to do. Make it very disrespectful. And then so all his future stuff doesn't come about. See, he went ahead and, yes, as a father, as a man, as whatever else, he wanted to do it. That's his rationale. That's the society we are in. But if you want to hurt the guy, be like, this is disrespectful. I don't know who this guy is, and make it pedophilic type of thing. And you won't, no one would be on his website. If you want to hurt him, you do it a different way. There's multiple ways to do it. But again, you do what you do when you do. I mean, this is not this first dumb thing that the baby has done, and it won't be the last.
Right. But you know what's so crazy is that now listening to three parents, because I don't have children.
Mhm.
To me,
I don't either.
I actually think that he overreacted because it is different because if you go to the guy social media, you see that this is what he does for a living. He draws painting and portraits of people. So it's not like it's just some fly by night. And he's a fan of the baby. So for me, in my head, I'm thinking it's not a photograph that he took of the children. To me, a painting is just a nice gesture because one of the things that he responded, he was like, he was kind of confused as to why the baby did what he did. And now, not only that, now you proceed with a threat, which is even
But
crazier.
see, he didn't want it. So at the moment where he realized the baby didn't want it, as a fan and as a person who wants his art to be respected, he should have said, out of respect, man, I'll take it down. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it could have gone a completely different way. Maybe he wanted, and then maybe he could have just said, "Can I give it to you? If you don't want to, would you mind having this
He
portrait
tried to
to
give it
keep
to him.
since I can't post?" But he
He
didn't
tried to
want
give it
it.
to.
Okay, so
He
then
didn't
like,
want it.
so
You
then
know,
like move on. Like, you know what I mean? Like move
yeah,
on. It's easy. It's and I get and I know you said you don't have kids or whatever. So like when you have children, you're automatically insanely protective of them.
right.
You love them more than I've never thought that this kind of love existed. It is insane to me how much I can love somebody when when I met my son. You know what I mean? So it's like there is a sense of like protection, and there is no matter what you don't know what people's intentions are when your kids are out there. I don't know.
And I get
It
that.
could
Yeah.
be anything that he's afraid of. So I think that he could have gone about it a different way, but now you've taken it from zero, and it could have been at 50 and left at 50, but now we're at 110. Now we can't go back.
No,
Yeah.
he said in his video where he searched his social media, he searched the meet like through I guess social media or whatever to find a picture of one of his, loved ones, whatever. And he has a lot of kids. So he was trying to find photos of his children, that a really good photo of his kids, and he found that picture to make, a picture of, like, a rendering of. But my other thing is, like, if he didn't ask for it and you tried to give it and he said, like, hey, no, I don't want this, I'm really not interested in your art, and I'm not interested in you having my daughters up on your site like that. And he did ask him, like, if he asked you to
Yeah.
take it down, then the respectful thing would have been to take it down, because you wouldn't have gotten to the part where he threatened you.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Right.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got
No, no. So here's the thing, and putting children aside, if it was a depiction of you and you didn't want it, okay, and it wasn't representative in that particular piece, my particular thing is that I think this gentleman should have known better. You when you start dealing with family members, again, you are on a slippery slope. I'm not. I'm talking about wives, girlfriends, anything. People are throwing down for less. You said what? You looked at my woman this way, whatever. Then you put it down to children. You're asking for it. If the baby, the whoever, you're going to be asking for it. If in essence, I mean, you're going to be asking for a reaction. He may never had one yet, but he was treading on that line anyway. But at the point
yeah.
he said no, the baby said, "Hey, I don't want it." He should have took it down. But here's the thing for the kind of devil's advocate in regards to the gentleman. Once the baby went ahead and threatened me, I'm leaving it. Hey, at this point, I'm going to ride my 3 minutes,
Well,
30
right.
seconds of fame and get it for clicks. And now I'll probably doing even more children. I'm actually now I've made a market, but that's something
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's move into the next topic. But I'm glad. Listen. I learned something from y'all today because for me, I thought he was over. reacting, but I don't have children, so I understand. And if somebody want to use my likeness, feel free. Um, it wouldn't bother me at all. I mean, I'm
I
not no
can't.
Shamar Moore, but hey, you can take it. So yeah, I want to move. I just have to say this again. I want to thank everybody for listening to Off the Record podcast. So we're gonna move into the main show topic, which is consensual versus non-consensual sex or contact. Especially since Brandy came out with her memoir Phases. And so Brandy speaks about Wanye Morris from Boys to Men in her memoir, detailing the two collaborate on the hit song, what is it, Broken Hearted back in 94. And then she goes on
Mhm.
to say that her friendship grew quickly turned in romantic. And this is part of her memoir because I was doing the research and I was watching some videos on it. But she was like, she also went on to say that he took advantage of her due to her age gap, and now the shames ends now. Now, some people, and I'll give you two sides of it. Some supporters are even saying that even if it seems like it was consensual at the time, a younger person may not fully grasp the situation. And then her critics are saying that um, if it was consensual at that time, it should not be relatable or relabeled later, meaning it should not be relabeled now that she's coming out. Um, whose side would you be on if you was a supporter or critic? Like, how do you feel when it comes to that? Anybody can jump in.
I'm gonna be middle of the road. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Okay, why is that?
Um, I was young, 16. I was dating guys that was like 2021.
Mhm, mhm.
And hold up, but wait a minute. I grew up in the Caribbean. The age of consent is literally 16. So we could drink, vote, whatever by the age of 16. Is it right? Is it morally okay? It's questionable, but legally speaking, it was legal. And that was
How do
back
you
in
feel about the?
that
Mhm.
time.
Let me pause you real quick. So I was doing, and I don't know because
Mhm.
I watched the video from the Breakfast Club, and I'll give my opinion at the end. But apparently, back in the '90s, it was also the age of consent was 16 years old in California.
Yep.
So if they had sex in California, it was 16. However, California has now moved it to the age of 18 in modern day. So, and I was watching something where Kiki Palmer as well as Demi Lovato, they talked about
Mhm.
how they were 16, 17, dating men in their late 20s. So,
Late 20s, now that's pushing it. Man.
well, it
I
happens, right?
said
It is.
I'm talking like 2021. I ain't talking
No,
about
but see, that's the thing. A lot of these younger women tend to go after older guys. I'm not saying that it's right, and a lot of guys tend to go after these young women. But I have more to say on that. But yeah, so if you're in the fence, so really, are you saying that that it's okay that it was consensual at the time, and that a person may not fully grasp it, or are you saying like she should not be able to label it now?
one. I'm not gonna relabel anything that I did because I fully understood what I was doing at the time.
Right.
Okay. So I'm only speaking for myself. I
Okay.
grew up on Young, Fresh, and Green.
Yeah.
If you from the Caribbean, you know the verse, you know the words. So, but again, coming from where I came from, we're in high school by the time we're 10. We left high school by the time we're 16. We're either working, going to college
Right.
by the time we're getting out of school at 16. So again, especially from the generation, especially from my mother's generation and my grandmother's generation, by the time they were 16, they probably had kids. And I have friends that were pregnant in high school at 16. So they already had started families by the time they got to that age because that was the culture in the time. People didn't live past a certain age. So it was normalized. Let me put it that way.
Mhm.
But again, is it right? Morally right? No.
So here's the thing
No.
that I'm at here, right? So the first thing you said, it was consensual. It was consensual at the time. Okay, and this is not that makes it, how you feel about it. Is it ethical? Is it more all that kind of? It was consensual. So don't try to reframe it in today's day and age. Okay, we've been through a lot of stuff in this in America since then. Okay, this is not even 10 years ago, 20, this is 30 plus years ago. So at the time where it was, I have a big problem with her trying to reshape it. He took advantage and everything else. There's a lot of taking advantage several different ways, and it
Mhm.
doesn't mean and it's both ways. And I'm not saying that as a 16-year-old you have as much advantage as you are as a 24-year, whatever it is, but there's a lot of taking advantage and a lot of stuff going on, especially in the 90s. Let's set that straight. Okay, but that being said, should for me, as a 22, 23-year-old, even then I had a problem with is she 16, 17? You need to be about 18. It just gives me a pedophilic type of feeling. Even, that's just me. Now, again, that's on him. It's what it's supposed to be. But at the same point of time, let's not try to demonize this guy for what that happened. One, it was consensual, and two, it was a day and age. It wasn't that he went ahead and got you like some other artists that are remain nameless that are in jail serving time, 12, 13-year-olds, whatever else. That's not where we're at. So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
What is your take?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we deal with somebody who is 16 or 15 or whatever, there is consent as a 15-year-old or 16-year-old, yet they can verbally give consent. But at what point do we determine that there is possibly some grooming going on? And that's where the line is drawn, because at that age you're dealing with where they're not fully cognizant of what's going on. They're dealing with an older person. And are they grooming them so that the consent could be given? You know what I mean? And I think that's where that line is. And that's where that fine line is. So yeah, when you're 16 and you may be thinking that it is consensual, maybe at this point in time, she's had the chance to reckon with that and saying, no, he groomed me and this was not really consensual. So
I'll
we
give a
don't know the ins and out of their relationship. So it's hard to say, but I don't think that um, anybody would put this on somebody else without a real reason or feeling behind it by knowing what the dynamics were in that relationship at the time.
Relevance. That's the reason behind this. She needs to be relevant again. She's irrelevant. So I agree
I
with
wouldn't
you.
necessarily say that
Brandy
she's irrelevant. She
irrelevant.
just came off a tour, but I wouldn't necessarily
I'm
say
saying
that she's
irrelevant and
Brandy
irrelevant.
irrelevant, never.
not
Well,
to the
I would
no,
point where
say,
you're going to
I
have to
would
do it
say
my
again.
it's
question is
something.
this:
I would
if
say
you
that
are
she's trying to
if
push
you're
her book or her memoir. I shouldn't say book. I would say that she's trying to push her memoir, and part of it, even though it's part of her even though it's part of her life, I think by her saying this is going to get people to, it's going to spark conversation for one, is going to spark people to want to read her memoir. So because there's anything out of her life in this memoir that she could have talked about, but yeah.
but my thing is this, I have a question. So if you are a child, um, and you're a child performer, actor, singer, whatever, where's the chaperone?
That was the next point.
Where's
You're
the
a major artist.
chaperone? Where is your handlers? You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not sending my 13 or 10 or
Well,
whatever
let's
year
stick to age
old out on the
because
road
let's stick
by
to the age
themselves.
because
It
here's
doesn't
here's
negate
the
what
thing.
happened though.
Well, let's stick to the age because and I watched the Breakfast Club with Wanye, right? And he was saying apparently they met when she was 15, but he's saying that they did not have consensual sex until they were she was 16, 17. But at this time he was on tour and she was on tour apparently. So
It could be
I'm
grooming.
assuming this is not well, I'm assuming that if her mother was not, because somebody was saying that her mother was her guardian at the time as far as she used to travel with her. I'm not sure because if you're sending your child off and you think that these people are responsible for your child, you would think that they'll oversee your child. So I don't know where her chaperone was, but um I don't know. I don't, and I'm going to tell you this, some people are not some people do not feel comfortable talking to their parents about sex. And
Absolutely.
that was me. That was me growing up. I was not in a space where I could talk to my parents. Now, mind you, my mother worked in the healthcare field. So, but I could not talk about sex with my parents. So I can understand why she kept it a secret for as long as she
And
did when she was growing up. So
and I also don't think some men realize what they're doing is grooming. I mean, their intention is to like, let me have sex with this girl, you know what I mean? So,
mhm.
it's the getting, courting you or whatever. But when you're of a particular age, then yeah, that's what it is. That's what it gives. Um Also, Apex, we will not do any Brandy slander. Okay.
I'm not. No, no.
That is
I have a
Here's
question. Let me
here's the
throw
thing.
this
Here, real quick,
question. Let me throw
real
this
quick.
question out there. Well, I'm not a Brandy fan. I
Oh,
like
I'm
her,
not a Brandy fan. Actually, I love
but
Brandy. When I say let me take it back, and I say irrelevant to the portion of mainstream. I say to the point where you're not the headliner. Again, this is the selling books, things like that. No, I love Brandy
she's
up
a
to a certain.
headliner.
Actually, I don't have anything against Brandy.
You can't say that she's not a
Nothing
headliner.
against
She's not a
okay.
Brandy.
backup singer.
No. I'm not saying when I say it's not. We're not talking about trash like the baby and some other people. No. I will say trash. There's a difference. But hey,
Well,
go ahead.
let me ask my question before I forget. Because do you think that at his age, because she's saying that they were in a full-on relationship, right? And she's saying that she loved him. So do you think, and he was 21, 22 around this time, probably if she was 16, 17, he had to be about 22. So yeah, 22, 23 when they had consent.
Aaliyah loved R. Kelly too.
Mm, He
But
was like
hold on. So
22.
do you think that he was actually grooming her, even though they were
I
considered
don't think
Mm,
intentionally. I think Farrah had it right. I think sometime again, and it's a different era. It again, when I say a different era, because there's certain things you can do that's indirectly that you're doing that you didn't know. But again, at the same point in time, if I was 20 and if I was 20 at that time, I would again, I didn't want any type of anything. Again, if even when I was in college in that time in the 90s in college, when a lady was a little bit inebriated and drunk or what even that I'm not my first time that I had sex with a woman was not going to be the first time you were if I was drinking you're drinking it's not that you got to tell me when you're sober on a point there even at that time
yeah, the
because I
optics
didn't
can
want
be
any
kind of
type of
I guess the optics now can be kind of crazy because it actually I seen his video and it kind of changed because listen, I'm a big Boys to Men fan. Okay. I used to have a group, a singing group back in the days called After Dark. And it was three of us, but like that. But I was a big Boys to Men still up until I seen his interview back in 2014 because I did the research and it kind of diminished who she was as a person. And that ultimately,
Mm.
unfortunately, changed my attitude towards him and the group because one of the things he was saying in the interview after Charlemagne was like, oh, um, he was banging Brandy, and he was like, oh, we did it in every state; it was not illegal. So to me, when you say something like that, you already knew what it was, right?
no and
So
even with that no and
it
no that's just
wasn't
being aware no
yeah, he is.
I will have
That's
to
what I'm
watch the
saying. He
review.
was aware of what he was. To me, he was aware of what he was doing
Oh
even
no,
back
being
then.
aware is no that he needs to be, especially as a black. Even now, you need to be aware of anything when you're
Very
black
true.
anywhere. You don't want to be gotten out for anything. So I don't necessarily hold that to him. But what I'm saying is that's a different era. Like I said, I was a different person moving, and then I didn't want any type of anything. But
Yeah,
that wasn't society. That
but
wasn't the
would
way it
you be the
was.
one to yes, being aware is one thing, right? But I feel like she's saying that she had a relationship with him and he knew he had a relationship with her. Not even sexual at the time, but now and she still didn't come out with it after he had his Breakfast Club interview. She didn't come out with it till now, right? But I feel like just his response after doing the research on this, I feel it kind of like I think it's kind of disrespectful in a sense because I wouldn't want that to happen to my mother. I wouldn't want to happen to my nieces or my
I,
nephews. Or so to me, I
No, here's
feel
the thing. If you was to talk to the Wanye of back then, because I always look at it like this. When you're young and you're in those years with those formative years, I don't think he would have thought like that back then. But him being an older person and looking back, the way that he was talking, it gave me the ick.
that's what I'm saying. So back then, I don't fault him, right? Now I do, because now you're a grown man, you had time to process it and stuff like that. And mind you, he has 2 daughters.
Again, having to, I don't see. Again, I think he separates.
No,
And what
yeah,
I'm saying
that's
is that
fine though,
that's
because
what you
you
have
wouldn't
to
want
ask
this
him.
to happen to your daughter, or you wouldn't want men to talk like that about your
No, no,
daughter.
that did they ask him that? Did you ask him if someone came around and took your daughter and then did the same? Did they ask him that?
Mm.
See, if he then said he's okay with it, I have a problem with him. If he and see, there's a difference. If he were to be like, you know what, boom. But what you have to do is like some of the people don't ask the question. You have a 12-year-old daughter. So if so and so came up to her and said and did this, are you going to be okay with it? No, I'm going to kill the guy. Well, this is what we're talking about. See, you have to
Yeah.
bring him to reality.
Yeah. No, and let me tell you, I tried looking for the full video because I like the research, and you can't find the full video. It only pertains to about, I believe it's like 2 to 3 minutes of them talking about Brandy, what he did and stuff like that. And so I'm still looking for the video, so we can definitely follow up on that. So now my next topic is going to be y'all already seen it, is with this one lady. So apparently this young lady, I don't know, should I say what her social media name is? Because she actually put her name out there along with the person's name who's
No,
alleging.
Mm.
don't do the name. Don't do the name.
Okay. Okay. So this one young lady is she took the social media, described an repeated experience where she felt her boundaries were crossed by a lady. Apparently she had some type of I don't even know if I want to say consensual, non-consensual sexual contact with this other lady, because it's kind of, the lines are kind of blurred. But anyways, in her posting, she talks about such abuse. She says, "My abuse looks like this: oral sex without being given the opportunity to consent while while in a vulnerable state, meaning she was naked, receiving platonic paid services on multiple occasions." Then she goes on to say that touching of my genitals on multiple occasions without consent in public places, after being told numerous times, meaning that she told the lady that she was with numerous times, that she didn't like it. She was in a resort in Mexico. Then also masturbation with her in the same space without consent. And that's another time she went to Mexico. And then she also took a trip to Colorado with this lady. Now, this apparently she said that she created a red light, green light. Reminds me of Chili and TLC, red light, green light. But
Mm.
she did a red light, green light, meaning when it was not okay and when it was okay to have consensual contact with her. Um, so my bigger question is, after reading, and I'm gonna post it on our social media, give the full context of what she said because she named this person. And after reading her information, do you think that what part did she play? I guess I should ask it that way.
She's
Because to me, I
confused.
feel like her post, I feel like she kind of lied in her post for attention, for people
I,
to
I think I
jump on
think I
the
think I
bandwagon.
think she I think again you're at the resort and some of this other stuff. I think at times you think you were saying something. I think there's several different, but you again at some point this happened. I told her 3 times. I told her 4 times. I told her how many times are you going to be around somebody and tell them? I'm just talking about a normal thing. How many times again? If I'm in a, I'm just going to talk about just someone calling me out my name. If I'm in a group, if I'm with someone and he called me out my name, I said, don't do it. I'm not doing it 6, 7, 8 times. I'm not going
Right.
to be around you.
Now,
You're talking about someone actually
I
physically assaulting you. Go ahead.
I think this is more like of a boundary issue where like it was okay sometimes, but sometimes it wasn't. It's kind of like
She wasn't
dealing
in the
with,
mood.
yeah, she wasn't in the mood. Okay, like I don't feel like being touched, don't touch me, and they just take the authority and touch you anyway. I think this is a boundary issue where it was like there are times where it is okay, but there are times when you just really don't understand the boundary that I'm setting with you, that I just don't want to be touched. And now it's being marked as non-consensual. It was not consensual. The touching or whatever was not consensual. She didn't want it.
But
And that is valid. But at one time, where what point do you say, okay, you cannot respect the boundaries that I've set in this relationship? So now I have to move on. If you keep going and keep interacting and keep dealing with this person, now you're like, okay, you're okay with it gives them the impression that this violation is not
It's
as
not a violation.
serious
It's not a
until
boundary because
Now,
you
my
want them to
thing is
cross the
this:
line.
Wait, let,
she explicitly said that this person is a dom, right? So is she a sub? And not only that, you after that I guess Mexico trip, you've did other trips with this person.
right.
Trip after trip
So
after trip.
and then you're reaching out to this person, trying to interact with this person for whatever reason, if you're trying to get a closure to whatever it is that you or
Y'all did the deed
whatever.
because she did say. Now, mind you, because in her post, and this is where I feel like she just wants attention because now, mind she didn't say this lady sexually assaulted her on multiple occasions in different cities, and then after she sent the lady a text message trying to reach out to the lady. I don't know why, probably for
That's
closure.
what I'm saying.
She was talking about therapy.
If if you feel
The
so
lady went
violated
on
by this
record.
person, why are you reaching out to them consistently,
She
like
reached
on
out
multiple different times?
49 days
Boundaries.
straight. 49 days straight, from what I understand. You texting this
Oh,
lady,
you
no
bugging.
response.
No,
So
she
it's
got
kind of
turned
like
out.
at some point in it, and I guess she just needs to make it okay in her head because she's trying to. I don't know if necessarily she's trying to wrap it around her head as far as like this happened to me and I just want closure by you apologizing, or is she trying to build a case?
Or she's just bored and has nothing else to do with her life. Because this is, I mean, to me, again, trip after trip after trip. It's boundaries. Yeah, I understand. It's a tough situation on certain things because you got to learn. People, everyone has their stuff. But at some point on this trip, I was doing this. Then I was naked, and then we were taking platonic services. Why are we naked
But
on platonic services? And then
but
we're
no
doing
no
this other
no.
but
stuff. Then it's red light,
She
green
was
light. Oh, I'm
getting
okay with it.
paid. She was getting paid.
So yeah. So basically, I think it was a massage type of thing where the girl who posted her sexual assault, she was getting massages from the dominant female, and then the dominant female will in turn would
Wouldn't take advantage, would go ahead and go forward.
cross the
This is where these
boundary.
kind of free. Yes, they would do this, and that's probably part of the game. And then you said no, I don't want it, and then you call me the next day, or you call me hey, let's do it again. You just got
Well,
done
yeah,
saying
and I
no,
think
but then
that's
you
where
say yes.
yeah, I think that's where the line is blurred because if you are having services that if you're feeling uncomfortable one day, why go out with them a second day
Well, you're
I
comfortable
think,
with the
or
massage, you
at
just
all?
don't want to get touched. Okay, then stop booking the
well, see,
massage.
that's where the confusion comes in at, because if this is a uh they have the dom and the sub. I don't know much about that kind of like
Oh, you can
thing.
ask him.
However, so
You can
like, I
ask
mean,
him.
I think
That's ridiculous.
I
I
researched
think
the
that like there
I'll
is a
explain it to
dynamic
you
of
after the show.
right. Go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I think there is a dynamic of this like type of situation, but um uh-uh. Okay, thank you. I think there's okay. Go ahead. So bye bye. Bye bye. Love you. So I think there is that dynamic of like that um push and pull, I guess, or back and forth.
Yes,
But so you
a
there
cat and
is, but
mouse.
at
Yeah.
the end, I feel like to call somebody 49 times when they're not responding to you is also a violation of a clear boundary. If
Yeah.
you have to call me 49 times and I'm not responsive, you clearly I don't want to talk to you. So you have a boundary issue as well.
Let me tell you
49
this.
times, but
This
49
lady,
days in a row. That's
and I'm gonna
harassment.
post it, but
For
yeah, what
49 days in a row. That's a boundary issue. Like
yeah,
the same boundary issue that she felt like that other woman had, she clearly had as well.
well,
Stop texting me. Stop calling
right.
me. It's
Well, this
crazy.
is what she's saying because she was saying that's for her therapy. But one of the things that she said, I want accountability and repair for the harm caused as part of my healing journey with the therapist. I guess
No,
whatever. So she
attention.
wanted as accountability from that lady.
That's
She
not what
just
the
don't
therapist
like
is
being
telling you.
ignored.
I
When
think that's what it is.
when you're consistently reaching out to the person is not responding back to you, and you're like, why are they not answering their phone? Like, why are you not talking to me? You want that person's attention. You need to
Especially when you're
hear
not in
from
a
that
relationship.
person.
Because why are you
Yeah,
calling me for a massage if you don't want me to touch you? I mean, that's the thing.
I
yeah,
don't know why
like
that made me
yeah,
laugh.
even
The
because I
rent
think
was
Listen,
what it
due.
is in her head, she feels like she's paying you just for a service, so you should not cross the line because you're getting the exchanges that you're getting money, but you don't get my
And
body.
But if you're
and this and
violated,
but
why are you
this
calling them?
No, and let me
and
say,
going back, but
that's what I interpret. That's not what she's saying.
does this service, is there a description of the service that she offers, and does it entail these other benefits?
Hold on.
Or could?
Is she no, wait a minute. Is she providing the service to the lady, or is the lady providing the service to her? Because if it's a
No, the
dom,
lady, the main lady. The dom is doing it to her.
that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, the dom is the one that she's paying. She's paying for the massage, and I guess the
She's
dom.
saying massage, but it's not massage. That's for the whips and chains and
Hold
everything
on.
else.
So is the dom paying her to massage her, or is the sub massaging the dom? Because that would make more sense.
I just know that she's saying that it's a paid service. I don't know who's doing what.
No. I think
It
you had it
seems like
right.
she is the one that's getting. She's the
The
one
service.
exchanging the money for the service.
Yeah.
Because
So she's
typically a
calling it a
dom is the one who's
massage,
going to
but
take
it's not
control of
massage.
the situation, meaning that they're the one that probably providing the massages. I don't
So
know.
she's the no.
Say
So
that.
the way
It
I'm
could be
taking it
flipped. It could be
is
flipped.
because a dom would not give a
Because
sub a
yeah, you're right.
massage.
It could be flipped because a sub likes to please. There you go.
No,
So
no,
What
no,
I'm
no,
no.
saying.
No. What I got it is the fact of it is that the dom is in there. It's just like she's been submissive, but making her be the dog or whatever, whipping her and all that kind of thing. They're calling him. They're not massaging. She says massage so she doesn't get ripped up. Because if she came on and
it
said,
doesn't.
"Hey,
What
I was submissive
massage with the
and I
whip?
was
It
getting beat
doesn't
and I
it
paid
doesn't
for it,"
matter if it's a massage or not. It's the matter of who is the person giving and who's the person taking. So I'm thinking that the dom is the one who is paying. She's paying, or if she's the sub, right? If you're the
Well,
submissive,
let's
you're
think
the
about
one
this
that's
real quick because now we're
giving.
teaching Farrah something. A dominatrix is the one with the whips,
Yes, that's the
right?
one. That's what I'm saying. That's the one that's in charge. So
Yeah,
she's
dominatrix
again.
is the one with the whip. So it could be that the dom is like. I don't ever see a dom being in a submissive role.
No, she's. That's
Exactly.
what I'm
That's what
saying.
I'm
That's why she's
saying.
lying. That's why she's lying. That's what I'm saying. It's in the book. If you read her the information, she used massage so that people wouldn't say, "Why are you taking?" Again, if she's the dom and she's doing the whips and the chains, then no one could say, "Why do you think
You
she's taking
keep saying
advantage
the
of you?"
whips and the chains. It does not
Well, it could.
necessarily have to
Well,
be whips and
I
I'm
asked
chains.
this
saying it.
question
Okay,
based
but I'm
off of
saying it.
this because
It's just.
if she's saying that it was non-consensual contact or non-consensual, well, in this case, contact because they didn't have sex. But if it's non-consensual contact, one of the question that was posed is that, sorry, how many attempts could a person make before they make it public, like this young lady did?
She's feeling
That's.
ignored. She feels
She's
But that's
pissed
not the
ignored.
because she's
She
been
question.
feels
ignored.
like
That's it.
Oh,
Some
she's
people use
beyond.
her social
Yeah,
media,
pissed.
obviously.
I would never blame somebody who is claiming something happened because look, we don't know, right? We were not there. We can assess based on what we had, but we don't have testimonies from both of them, so we can't judge. However,
I'm gonna tell you something.
also
Go ahead.
if we take Dom and sub out of it, if somebody says they were touched in a way that they shouldn't have been, but kept going back, I feel like it still just goes back to the boundary issue outside of sub Dom situation.
I'm going to tell you, I'm on a different front, right? You know, I've lived life. I've experienced a lot of stuff. For me, I feel like you have to have proof. If you're going to make a statement about being sexually assaulted, you have to have proof. That is hands down 100. And I say that whether it's contact or actual sex. And it's on a case by case, but for me, you have to have proof. And I say that because I had a cousin when me and her the same age, about a year apart, 16 years old. She was having sex with two people at the same time. And she ended up coming home after a curfew. And she told her parents, now, mind you, I think her curfew was like 8, 9 o'clock, before sundown and stuff like that. She went home because came in after curfew. She ended up telling her parents that she was just raped by this guy. Okay. Police was called. This dude was probably, I want to say he was about 3 to 4 years older than her. He got arrested, fingerprinted, all of that.
Hmm.
Come to find out, she
She
lied.
lied. Yep.
Months later, this man done lost his job, got kicked out his place out because they found that, hey, he was a threat to the people in the community. So for me, I need proof. So based off of what she's saying in this, when you start to, for me, when she started to say, okay, I was sexually assaulted, but then you keep on going back on a repeated basis, you lost all credibility.
Well, to answer your question, you asked the question, and how many times?
Experienced.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
more.
Well, again, back to the question: how many times can you do before you come out? I don't think this is a
I don't think she
public.
should have came out online. I think
That's what I'm saying.
because now when you put your business out there, you're unfortunately you're leaving it up to the public to interpret and also to judge.
That's what you did it for. That's what she did it for. So
And I think she wanted to get because people tend to trauma bond over stuff, is what they call it, right? And I think she wanted people to jump on the bandwagon because Renee, you just said that she probably removed the post, right? So she probably didn't get a
No,
lot
I
of
had to go back. I looked at
I'll
it.
double check
It's
too.
still up. It's still up.
It
But
is?
my thing is, it's still up. But my thing is you bullet point this whole scenario. You post it
Yeah, right.
online. You have these multiple posts about consent and all this other stuff. I know personally, if somebody did something like that to me, I'm not calling you multiple times a day. I'm not texting you whether I'm not communicating with you, period. Like Apex said, like, yo, it's either I'm putting hands and feet on you, but like I said, I'm not getting arrested in other countries. I'm gonna wait till you get to the other side.
Right.
But I am not gonna sit there and go anywhere with you ever again.
And I think
I'm
that's
not
where
gonna contact you.
that she
I'm not
literally
texting
went
you.
on separate trips with this lady. You want accountability after all of these trips. You want accountability after you done told this lady no, but yet you put yourself in it because she's not a child. Okay, it's different when a person we're talking about grooming. It's different when you're a young child and somebody's saying that you have to do this because I'm going to do that to you.
Yeah,
So
but
this
this is not
more
about
like
this is
some
not
kind
about
of
accountability.
situation.
Yeah, it's not accountability. And let's be for real. And I'm gonna say this for real. The point of to point. Now, again, everybody has their own portion of how to cope and everything else. So be it. But here's the thing. No therapist is going to tell you go get accountability from the person. No, they can tell you can move on past it without the other person. Number one.
Right.
Number two, you're not going to do 49. I don't care if it's 49 calls in a day, 49 days in a row. If the person doesn't want to talk to you, move on with your life. Number three, you're not in a major relationship because you've already admitted to it. So what do you have here? Well, it was just a massage. It's the mentality of the situation.
Was
You
it
want
though? What's the
her.
massage?
Fair, your
You
background.
want her. You want her to be able to contact you. That's why she did this. She wanted to get the other person to contact her. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
That's
she
why she
wants her
posted.
dopamine hit. I always say, like, when people are constantly trying to get your attention, they're constantly trying to reach out to you, they want to talk to you. It's like they missing something. They miss that attention. It's like a dopamine hit that they're missing. She was probably getting something out of it.
So
No, she
let me ask
did
this
get something
last
out of it.
question. Let me ask this last question because this came to mind when I was doing it. Does status or fame influence who gets believed? Because we did a branding, we did somebody that's not in the wasn't in the public eye at the time. So the status or fame gets influence who gets
Yes.
even who doesn't? Why
Well,
so?
not believed, but
How do you
but attention. I think who gets attention. Believed, it depends on that person's character, on how they've been in the public eye, right? So if you can name any amount of people, it was the baby, the Brandy, whoever you are, whatever you stood for, that's where you're gonna be believed or not. That's
I'm
where
gonna
it comes
give you a
down to.
prime example. The
you have
Blake
30
Lively
seconds before it
situation,
goes over? Yeah.
when that came out, I was like, I don't believe her.
Right,
I even
right.
heard the whole story. I just
I
didn't
think
believe her.
yeah. What about you? What about you, Farrah Monet? Do you think the status or fame influence who gets believed?
No. I think that celebrities are given way more grace, but for me, no, it does not matter. It all has to make sense to me. But No, I don't think so. I don't think that. I don't think so. I think
I mean,
money determines how you're gonna end up at the end of the day. Like when it comes, if there was an illegal situation, but I don't think it matters when it comes down to like who's believing who. I believe whoever's story makes the most sense in this day and age. The way that they judge now, everything that's going on now is so different than the way that they judge things 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The everything has changed down to like what was acceptable, like the Tyra Banks situation, like what was acceptable back then to what's acceptable now. It's changed, and now we're going back and we're judging those things that we were okay with before. We were okay with Aaliyah and R. Kelly. Now,
yeah.
you know,
Who
we,
said
we're not.
that?
So you
Okay,
know what I mean? I mean,
let's wrap it up.
Hey,
society.
hey,
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 We
he was
we'll
listened,
cover
he
that
was one
another
in a
time.
million.
But
but we
look,
still
that's
listened.
today's conversation as far as consensual, non-consensual sex or contact. I just want to say thank you all for the conversation. Y'all always come through. I know it was it might have been a difficult topic for some people, not so much me. But I definitely want to hear everybody's perspective when it comes to this. So I once again just reach out to us on social media. You'll see it at the end of the video, and that takes us out for today. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Let it play out. Hold on.
You cut everything out if you're still
I
going.
know.
I guess
He
we're
Oh,
could
just
I
gonna
probably
be
did.
still
muted.
Bugger
hear
up,
it.
I put it
bugger
up.
up,
I put it
bugger
up.
up, baby.
He could
The
probably still hear